All right, guys. Hopefully, we are broadcasting. See here very shortly. And we are. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are here in the Islander. I am uh, kind of a little mystified. I updated, there's a hotfix driver that came out today. That yeah, man, I see that. Hey, Heiko, what's going on? 4K, how you doing? Chris, what's going on? Um, so I updated my driver today, and it looks like on YouTube it's not showing you all the artifacts that I'm getting, but in my sim it looks terrible. I'm getting all these artifacts right now. And I don't think it reset any of my settings. I just don't know what frame generation is on, all this fun stuff. I just can't quite figure out what it has done unless the driver itself is just horrible. But we're going to live with it because it's time to do some flying. And landing into Riga from 4K Aviation. So I don't know whether you guys can see like how kind of drag. It's very jittery, kind of artifacty, but we're just gonna have to go with it. Um, all right, rotating beacon on, mixtures and props full forward, master and battery switches on, fuel pumps on. Let's open the fuel valves. And we'll go magnetos on left. We will crack the throttles. Take a quick look outside, make sure there's nobody out there to kill or maim. And we're going to go right engine first. Good start. Manifold pressure looks good, oil pressure looking good. Left prop is clear. Alright, there's a good start. Manifold pressure good, oil pressure good. Let's go mags to both. Close the starter and cover. Fuel pumps are coming off. Check our fuel pressures. Fuel pressure's looking good. Lean the mixtures from taxi. Avionics master coming on. I don't know whether okay, cool, Heiko. I'm glad because I have it on an iPad in front of me, and on the iPad it looks fine. In my sim, it looks horrible. I don't know. It may just be my. It might just be the. I need to mess with the monitor settings because it certainly resets something, and it's sort of my fault for doing this on a day that I was going to stream, which wasn't really a bright idea to begin with. But I am also using. I'm also have live players enabled, so if anybody else is flying along. Hey Enzer, how are you? Good to see you. Cool. So it's probably just my monitor. So I did the whole process of what's the altimeter? Altimeter is 3006. I'm also using live weather today, which is what I really like to do. But for there was a couple days there that the weather was pretty bad, so it was best just to yeah, Enzo, same here. Same here. Dame, how you doing? Good to see you. I am on multiplayer. Let me look and well, shoot, I don't know if I can look and see. Probably the US East server, I would guess. That's the one I usually am on. I also forgot to turn on Volanta, which I'll do now. Oh, that's funny. That's funny, Answer. There seems to be quite a bit going on in the Caribbean today. There's a whole bunch of people. Looks like flying Juliana over to the Dominican. Got some on VATSIM. There's some ground coverage in San Juan, which is pretty cool. It's going to have strobe lights on, external power supply off, parking brake is off. Release the toe brakes. Well, I'm glad it looks better on, and we'll test the toe brakes. Toe brakes are working fine. I'm glad it works. I'm glad it looks better on YouTube than it does for me. I'll put it that way. But it's going to be a good flight. There's a lot of stuff to see there, in terms of POIs on Puerto Rico. My count was, I think, 6 or 7 different points of interest, and most of them are in San Juan, or like old San Juan, basically. Let's put down takeoff flaps. One thing you have to be careful with this scenery, and that's a stiff crosswind. Look at that. I'm gonna enter the runway here and then back taxi, because there's a tree up there that sometimes gets in the way, or it's a bush that sometimes gets in the way. Andrew, hello, sir. Good to see you. Turn all our lights on, because you always want your lights on when you're on an active runway. Whoops. So how is engine noise compared to voice noise? Is it okay? Just want to make sure it's not too bad. I listened back to the previous streams, and it seems like it's okay. But you know what? That tree is no longer there. So SLH Sim Design says corrected that, which is great. And alright, one other little thing about departures. Whenever I make a departure, I always like to turn. Like if I'm departing this way and you have to back taxi the runway, I always like to turn in this direction. I always like to make a right-hand turn, so that when I'm sitting right here at the end of the runway getting ready, I've got a view of the arrival end of the runway. So in case somebody's coming in, I can see them. If I turn the other way and I'm trying to do this to see, not good. All right, let's go mixtures and props. Full forward, fuel pumps coming on. We're just gonna go westbound. I'm not gonna put in anything in the GPS today. So let's get out on center line. Come on. Get out on center line. We're gonna do a short field takeoff. And we're also gonna do a crosswind. Got a good crosswind, so you got to put full aileron deflection into the wind. Mixtures and props full forward. Fuel pumps on, flaps are set. Takeoff power coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments in the green. Release the brakes. And Microsoft Flight Simulator does a terrible job at crosswind corrections on the ground. You can't hold it in, so I gotta let that go. In a real plane, see, and then you get this deal going on. In a real plane, you gotta hold that crosswind correction in, otherwise you are gonna have problems. So 200 feet above the ground, bring the props back, bring the manifold pressure back. Let's have a look outside. It is beautiful. It is looking gorgeous. Alright. Continue my climb out here. Yeah, I mean, FSU IPC, Heiko, FSU IPC is kind of challenging to say the least. I don't know the touch panel program, but I have this all set up through the sim now, just through the regular Microsoft controls. they've definitely improved since the start, like since the sim first came out. When the sim first came out, the controls were, let's just say, such that you needed FSU IPC to get everything working. Okay, there we go. 1,000 feet AGL. We'll turn our fuel pumps off, and we will head towards San Juan. And this is just yeah. And the other thing, notice that the water is all churned up because of the wind, which is really cool. I don't know if I've noticed that before. Really, really cool. So 90 knots is good for the climb, and we are looking good. Area 10, what's going on? What's going on at David TSW? Yeah, you know, I really do have to get the Comanche, because everybody says how amazing the flight dynamics in particular are for the Comanche. And hey, Luis, how are you? Good to see you back, man. Yeah, we're gonna go check out your old stomping grounds, my friend. Yeah, everybody says the Comanche is amazing, and I've flown A2A aircraft before, and you know what? I still had my flaps down. I was wondering why the plane was climbing so perfectly at 90 knots. And the reason was because I had my flaps down. Yeah, I mean, the opinion on the Comanche is universal, that it is excellent. And I've had A2A aircraft for prepared, which I had the Cherokee 180 for prepared, which was great. So maybe we're gonna have to get the Comanche and see why everybody raves about it, because everybody says it's great. Alright, climbing at 100 knots, which is perfect. And hey, our Toon CS, what's going on? Welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you here. Good to have everybody here. It's Friday. Alright, 50 feet below your cruise altitude. Push the nose over. Pull the props back. Pull your power back. That's about what it should take in a piston aircraft, about 50 feet below your cruise altitude. So if you're planning on cruising at 3,000, right about 2950, you can start pushing the nose forward out of your climb, and you should be able to level off right at your desired altitude. Get my power set correctly first here. I'm not sure if Captain Hughes is watching. Captain Hughes might be busy. Z-Sim pilot. I was talking to him earlier. I spent too much of my morning looking at tickets for heading down to St. Martin and Anguilla in August. We always go to so August is, you know, possibly a weird time to go to the Caribbean, but my girlfriend's birthday is in August, and so that's kind of our tradition, is we head down the end of August through Labor Day in the U.S. And it's a great time to go because, you know, prices obviously are better, you know, but you can also, it's like a little bit more relaxed. There's less going on, which is what we're looking for, you know. Like we don't go to, like, you know, jet ski and scuba dive and all kinds of weird stuff. We just go to hang out, sit on the beach. The Virgin Islands behind us over there. Vieques, and way off in the distance here you can see St. Croix. Beautiful part of the world. This is live weather. Look, there's a bar on. Hey, Artune CS, I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you. I'm glad, man. I always say man. I don't know why. I shouldn't assume everybody's who's watching this, you know. Enzer, yeah, hurricane season. You know, the only time I think 1 year when we were in Anguilla, there was some weather in August. I remember the first time we went, it was hilarious. Because as you well know, yeah, Dame, you're exactly right. That's exactly why we do it. But Enzer, as you well know, you know, if you look at our forecast for Anguilla, basically anytime it's gonna show like, you know, 50% chance of rain, like basically every day. But unless you've been there, what you don't realize is that it's gonna rain for 15 minutes, if it rains at all, you know. And so I remember we were like, oh no, it's, you know, half the days it looks like rain. What are we gonna do? And then we realized it just, you know, it just rains for 10 minutes and then that's it. But there was 1 year where we went, might have been like 2017, somewhere in there, where we got like maybe out of 10 days we got like 2 legit rain days. But I mean, we've been to Anguilla in particular. We did St. Martin 1 year. You know, going on 10 years now, we've probably had I don't know, a handful of like legit rain days where you just really can't go outside and do anything without getting wet anyway. Priscillis, I am using Track IR5, which is my I wouldn't sim without it. I don't know how people. I mean, I just don't know how you do it with a mouse. It would drive me nuts. But the Track IR5 is great. I haven't tried Tobii Eye Tracker, but I mean, it looks like a cool idea. I don't know quite how it works. I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to do this sort of thing, for example, with Tobii Eye Tracker. I find it weird how it's perfectly smooth in YouTube, and for me, it's like really bad. I'm getting a ton of like artifacts along like the windows edge, like the edge of the windows and stuff like that. Charlie J, what's going on? Welcome aboard, my friend. Oh, so it has eye tracking and head tracking. That is interesting. That is interesting. So there is. I did a series of videos a ways back, and actually, I think that's it right there. There is an old runway, and Luis probably knows. There's an old runway. It used to be an airport right here. I'm assuming that's it because it's east-west. See if I can see it. But somebody recreated the airport for the sim, for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they recreated it and put it up on flightsim.to. So that's really cool. I went and flew in there once. So I think that the plan for today, I want to fly basically past. Oh, it was 2017. Wasn't Irma, was it? I think. Yeah, no, Enzer. Yes, it was. Because we didn't come back until 2019. I remember that. This is Dame. This is Puerto Rico. We're on the just coming on up on the east end of Puerto Rico. And yeah, that's the old airport right there. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the old airport right there. Braniff, hello, sir. Dallas, Texas. We have a lot of family and friends in Texas, and I always refer to it as the country of Texas. I don't mean to offend. Texas is definitely its own place. Yeah, 2017 was Irma. Yes, that was. So it must have been 2015 or 16 then that I'm thinking of, where we had the weather, because we weren't there. We weren't there the year Irma came, I don't think. But we might have been. That was nasty. That was nasty. Yeah, exactly, Dame. Stateside Siren 4. I don't know why that's my... I'll type that into the chat so everybody has. So this is my Microsoft Flight Simulator ID, Stateside Siren 4. That's like, it's what they assign you. Fajardo Airport. Okay, yeah. That, like when you buy this sim and they just give you some like random name. I don't even know why they give you a name, but so you can use it to, I guess, to interact with other players and stuff. And that's the one they gave me, and I just never changed it. Z Sim Pilot, he is aboard. We are heading right now to San Juan. And then once, I think what we're gonna do is let me look here. Is just, depending on how long it takes, is do a lap around Puerto Rico. So there's a bunch of points of interest right here. I forget the name of this airport out here, Rafael Hernandez Airport, but I forget the city. But that's a cool little airport. That's a cool payware airport. I'm thinking about landing there, and then come around here in Ponce. They have a neat point of interest. They have one down here and one in Ponce. I'm kind of interested in seeing both of them. But right now, we are heading for San Juan. Probably a good time to start descending, so that we can see our points of interest here. Oh, okay, the name is for multiplayer mode. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna look here. We've got Castillo San Cristobal. We've got Castillo San Felipe del Moro. We've got what else do we have? We've got a fort, which I'm not even gonna try to pronounce, because I'm just gonna embarrass myself. Got a fort. Geronimo del Bocaron? Yeah, exactly. So there's a bunch of different, there's a ton of different points of interest in San Juan, which is pretty cool. And I guess they did photogrammetry to San Juan, because it says that one of the points of interest is the capital of Puerto Rico, which makes me think that they did photogrammetry for San Juan. Chris, I flew in a float plane one time in real life, and the pilots are obsessed with float planes, and they don't really do it for me. I don't know why. I know the Caribbean would be a perfect place to fly float planes. But it's just never. Yeah, it could go to Sandy Island. You're right about that one. I think the whatchamacallit, what's the little two-seater, starts with an A, the float plane in the sim. The one that, what's his name, the Phillies pitcher killed himself in. That might be a cool little airplane. SJU. That's right, Captain Hughes. Captain Hughes. So this is actually kind of a cool idea. So we're not on VATSIM, but we are on multiplayer. So people can fly along. I think I love the colors. I love the colors in the sim now. Like the green of the earth looks so good to me. The icon, you're right. The icon. Hey, this is the Britain Norman Islander. This is the Britain Norman Islander from Black Box Simulations. This is a great airplane. Not only does I think the colors of the ground look awesome. I mean, the water masking is just insane. And they've definitely done some work on the buildings themselves. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on San Juan, because I am on multiplayer and I'm gonna be flying like right across the departure end of the runway. I don't wanna. Z-Sim Pilot, I have never been to Jamaica, and there's Bald Eagle VI. I have never been to Jamaica. It's definitely a place I'm interested in. I don't know how to accept a friend request right now, but I will definitely accept that, Dame, for sure. So the ATR, I got the ATR from the marketplace in the sim. It's the payware one. Oh, nice. So we got our first fly along. Dame is going to fly along with us here. Sweet. You're going to be a bit faster than me in the Bonanza, probably. But, yeah, it comes in the sim, but you do have to buy it, the ATR. But I mean, it costs like, I don't know, $15. Best $15 you'll spend. It's great. Great airplane. And I have a feeling we've got a headwind. Because we're not moving very fast. I'm gonna check actually and see what the winds aloft are. Alright, the other thing I need to do is check and see where these forts are. So I think the first one we're gonna see, so these forts are just past the airport. There's like a series of like 4 forts. Trying to get the whoopsie daisy. Trying to get the weather for San Juan. Winds, let's take a look at the winds. Winds are out of the north at like 15 knots, so that's not bad. That's not bad. So, coming back. See if we see, Dame here. So a lot of the forts and stuff are coming up in Old San Juan, which is up in here. Hey Jason, I appreciate it. Hey Ray, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you back. Keeping an eye out here. Hey, Jason, that's awesome, man. That's what we're all about. That's what we're all about, is getting some performance, you know? Getting some performance. So there's going to be like 4 forts in a row. Whoopsie. That are coming up here. And the first one, I think, is going to be right here. Or no, it's going to be right here. And then there's going to be like 4 of them right in a row. There's going to be a couple, there's going to be 1 here, then there's going to be 2 out here, and there's going to be 1 on the other side. Right there. So I'm definitely getting some thermals here, which is not unusual, not unheard of when it's hot. Let me see. Yeah, Mike, we are in Puerto Rico. We're going to check out. Yeah, so they definitely did photogrammetry for Puerto Rico, or for San Juan rather. Check this out. Look at this. I'm going to bring some power out and slow us down here so we can see a little bit. Yeah, they definitely did photogrammetry. Looks really good. Put in some flaps here, slow us down. Look at this. San Juan is looking fantastic. Alright. So this is the first point of interest. It should be right here. Oh, that's going to be it right there. That's going to be it right there. Make sure I don't. There we go. Our first point of interest is a fort of some kind. Alright, now we're looking for 2 more. That is Isla Grande, that is the GA airport. And we should be seeing some really cool scenery up here in Old San Juan. Let's see here, there's definitely one right there. Look at that, wow, that is cool. It'll be really cool when we hit the ground. Look at that, that's amazing. That's amazing. And then here we got Old San Juan. Gotta bring in some power here. Wow, look at this. Got another fort right here. Keep an eye on the vertical speed so I don't crash. And then we should have another one right over on this side. Should be another one right here. 300 feet above the ground. Right here. Yes. Looking pretty cool. Neat. It's pretty good, huh, Z? Alright. Let's get some altitude here. Puerto Rico is a big island. Mike, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Alright. Oh yeah, I can probably bring my flaps up. So yeah, that was pretty cool. mean, the whole city looks amazing. I'm going to put in the exactly wheels. Oh, your wheels up. Okay, Dame. You're gonna catch me, man, because you're in a Bonanza. That's a great airplane. Okay. Just wanted to get some altitude here. Back it off here a little bit. All right. I know Z-Sim Pilot was doing some 737 flying earlier today. I haven't flown the 737 in I might have like 2 737 flights in the last 2 months. Which is not ideal. Not ideal. Yeah, Mike, it's neat that they've got all this stuff to go check out. I've never done this with any of the other world updates, like go and check out what else there is to see. You know, so how much, let's see. The winds are out of the north, so so we do have a bit of a headwind right now. I don't know if we're gonna make it all the way around Puerto Rico. It might take us a while at this rate. You know. Got some good. What other airliners do I fly? I fly the 737. I used to fly the CRJ quite a bit when the CRJ was kind of like the only third-party jet in the sim, and I think the 737, the CRJ gets a bad rap. I think the CRJ is a lot like the ATR, in that a lot of the problems that people have with the CRJ are because they don't know how to fly the CRJ. And myself, I include myself in that too. I mean, when I first started flying the CRJ, so like for example, the CRJ cannot fly RNP approaches. And I was trying to recreate a flight that I had done to Guadeloupe in real life. We flew out of Miami with American Airlines. And I was trying to redo that, like recreate that flight in the sim with the CRJ. And I might be mistaken. I mean, I know there's a RNP approach into Guadeloupe, but I don't know if there's another RNAV approach or if it's only the RNP. But like I tried flying the RNP approach like 5 times, and I was super frustrated until I finally realized that the CRJ cannot fly RNP approaches. You know, so it's things like that. I mean, as we dive towards the ground here, things like that. So I mean, I fly the CRJ, although I haven't flown that in ages. I think that was a fun plane. I did fly it like in December down to from Miami to Turks and Caicos, because that was the only one that American Virtual would let you fly, and I wanted to do that flight. So basically, the short answer to your question is 737, CRJ, and the ATR. I've flown a couple times, like maybe 3 flights in the 747, and I actually think the 747, the stock 747 in the sim, is very good. I did the whole flight one time from Amsterdam to Princess Juliana, and my landing wasn't too bad. Imagine your first landing with 747 being at Princess Juliana. So it really wasn't too bad. But the 747, it's just such an amazing. I want to fly on one before they stop passenger service, and there's really only a few carriers left that fly them. The Lufthansa flies them, and like there's some others like Korean Air flies them, but I'm not going to Korea. So I one time before the 747 stops passenger service, I want to fly from it's probably going to be either New York or Chicago to Frankfurt in the 747. No, I'm not giving out stock tips, Mike. One person you don't want stock tips from is me. Yeah, that's a long story. Remember the good old days of like 2020 and 2021, where there's literally no stock you could buy and lose money on. Those days are over. But yeah, I want to do, and I'm not gonna be able to afford. I mean, I could. Yeah, the 747. You know what, Heiko? As a matter of fact, I watched live and in person the last 747 KLM landing in St. Martin. I was there. I was leaving that day, as a matter of fact. And I have the video on my YouTube channel. I don't think it was a very good video. It's a phone camera video. And I didn't even realize, I think somebody told us that it was the last 747 flight. And we just happened to be leaving. And so we saw the landing. It was pretty amazing. Let's see, altimeter 3008 now. Let's get that dialed in here. Winds in San Juan are 050, 10 gust and 20. So it's blowing. Yeah, I hope you're right. So I was stuck on SF2020. So I'm trying to figure out the lettering, the Greek lettering. Is it Elias? Elias? If I got that one right, let me know. I think it might be Elias. I hope to say, I mean, the 747 will die at some point. What's amazing is how quickly the A380 ran its course. That thing is gone. That thing is gone. So that, Heiko, the day that we were there, we would have been in Anguilla the day before, or well, up to that morning. We were flying out, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever the normal Miami departure for American Airlines, like 2-3 o'clock. But we would have been in Anguilla until that morning. We stayed in St. Martin. We actually stayed in St. Martin in 2021. That was our first post-COVID trip. And we stayed at Mary's Boone on Simpson Bay. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved it. It was a good time. So, what I'm figuring out right now is how big Puerto Rico is. Elias, yeah, nice. So I took a couple years of Russian in college, and so I understand, like I can read the Cyrillic alphabet, and I know that like the Greek alphabet is the same, but it's similar enough, somewhat similar anyway. Braniff, man, that thing is I mean, that's a crazy airplane, the A380. You know what's funny is they actually have taxi charts strictly for the A380 because it's so big. You can't just land at wherever you're going and taxi. You've got to you can only use certain taxiways, whether it's for width or for weight, But that airplane's, they're already mothballing those things. That thing is not going to be around a whole lot longer, which is a stunning turnaround, for an airplane that, who knows how long they took developing, and who knows how much their customers spent to buy them, and they're just going to mothball the things. There's just outside of Tucson, Arizona, there is you wonder, like, what do they do with all these planes, right? I mean, a lot of them they'll break down. I mean, literally just physically destroy, and then sell off the metal. But like, let me see. Let me Google this. Tucson Boneyard. It's the Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson, Arizona, and it's literally just thousands and thousands of mothballed airplanes. I mean, it's wild, and they just fly them out there and park them and done, and that's it. I mean, they strip them of avionics and, like, whatever parts they think they can get, and then the carcasses just sit there. It's really kind of bizarre. Really kind of bizarre. Oh, really? So BK-79, 739. Okay. Because I know that, and they were actually one of the ones I was thinking of, because they're like one of the big A380 operators. But I know that at least some of the operators have already taken them out of service. Lufthansa is bringing the 380 back. Okay, well, maybe the CEOs came to the same conclusion I did, that it didn't make much sense. And of course, in the last couple of years, nobody had any idea whether and when air travel would come back. I mean, the A380 kind of got introduced at exactly the wrong time. So yeah, this isn't much of a headwind. This is about 16 knots. But a funny little fact about headwinds and tailwinds: you would figure, you would figure that if you're flying into a 16 knot headwind and then you fly 16 knot tailwind, like if you flew out and back, like if we flew San Juan out to the end of this island and straight back, 16 knot headwind on the way out, 16 knot tailwind on the way back, that it would take us the same amount of time if there was no wind, right? Wrong. It takes more time. Wind costs you more than it ever gives you back. you're going in, if you're doing it out and back. If you're just going in one direction and not coming back, tailwind will obviously help you, but a headwind will cost you more than a tailwind will ever pay you back, which is a really weird thing. Yeah, so I had a friend who flew on the flew business class in the A380 to Dubai, which must have been kind of cool. I remember going to bed and like watching him on Flight Radar 24. Then he'll wake up in the morning and he's still flying. But I didn't finish my story about Lufthansa, so I want to fly on the 747 before they wrap up the 747, which is not going to be a whole lot longer. I figure I got maybe 10 years, but I want to do at least premium economy. So Heiko flew the A380 from Bangkok to Seoul. Okay, BK 739. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because you do associate Emirates with that airplane for sure. You know. So Rafael Hernandez Airport is right out on the tip of the island here. And we're gonna go check that out. That might be our destination. It's going 4:30. Yeah, you know what, Ilyas, you're absolutely right. The Lufthansa used to fly 747s from Frankfurt to one of the Canary Islands. I don't remember which one. And it was like an hour and a half flight. And they flew like 3 flights a day because there were so many people. Mallorca, probably. There were so many people from Germany that go there. But yeah. Oh, the 7. Yeah, Enzer Ice, yeah. That's amazing. But so the funny story, so the premium economy seat in the 747 is the same as the first class seat in the 737. So I'm definitely at least gonna do premium economy. Would love to do business class. I would love to do first class, but you don't have first class like New York to Frankfurt ticket cost in the 747. It's like $11,000. Which, I mean, I could do, but I'm not going to. Oh God, it would be. I mean, once in a lifetime. Who knows? Maybe. But cabin 47. We're just talking about your plane, man. The 747. We're just talking about your plane. So it's funny. I was thinking I was going to be able to do a full lap of Puerto Rico in one go, and that's clearly not going to happen. Wake poor Heiko up at 3 in the morning, and he's only going to get an hour's worth of stream to watch. So now the question becomes, I mean, I think landing out here is probably a good idea, but the question is going to be, so what's weird is that I'm less interested in seeing the Dominican than I am in seeing Haiti. I really want to see Haiti. And so we're gonna fly out to Haiti for sure. I mean, we're gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna do Haiti. We're gonna do Cuba. We're gonna do Jamaica. We're gonna do all the way out Caymans on the way back. We're gonna do the whole thing. But the question is, next stream, do we go around the island to see the 2 points of interest over here? Or do we keep going this way and then catch these on the way back? I think, you know what? What we're gonna do, we're gonna go left around the north side of the Dominican and Haiti, and then we'll go all the way out, Cuba, Jamaica, Caymans, and we'll come back along the south side of the islands so that we can see both sides. So we're gonna leave the next 2 points on the south of Puerto Rico for the time when we come back. So we're gonna continue next time. We're gonna head to Dominican, which you can probably almost see. Oh, nice. Mumbai to London, Toronto to Frankfurt, Hong Kong to Mumbai. That must have been, which was the longest of those flights? Was it, I would imagine it's Hong Kong to Mumbai, right? Helios, that's interesting. I mean, you know that the bean counters at these airlines know. Yeah, the DC. I totally agree with you on the BK on the DC3, because you know the bean counters know exactly to the penny, you know, where those planes make the most money. You know, so runway 826 here. This is Rafael Hernandez Airport, and this is a pay-where airport, and it's a nice one. It's really nice. It's a cool airport. I like it. So let's go mixtures. Rich. About 8 hours, yeah. Yeah, the DC. You know, the DC3 actually is something I should fly. I should figure out how to fly that thing. The only thing, I have an aversion to tail draggers. I feel the same way about tail draggers as I feel about float planes. I go fuel pumps on, and I kind of get the feeling that, given the ground physics of Microsoft Flight Simulator, that tail draggers are not going to be very good. It's kind of the feeling I have. But like, pilots are obsessed with tail draggers and float planes, and I have no interest in either of them. The only float plane, or the only tail dragger that I'm interested in is, well, I like the Beech 18. And I love the Stagger Wing. There's actually an airport near my house where they work on Stagger Wings, and they literally have like 15 of them. I don't know if it's 15 of them, but it's certainly like 5, which is not 15. Yeah, A340 was a cool plane. A340 was a cool plane. Alright, let's go mixtures and props full forward. And go, well, I'm not going to turn base quite yet. Still need to keep descending here. Yeah, Elias, the A340, 4 engines, but not enough seats, right? Alright, we'll go flaps full. And make our turn here. And to get a good base leg, I need to start descending. I really need to start descending. Get a good base leg. We're runway 8, so we just want to get that 8 right there, just on that hash mark here on the side. That'll give us a perfect left base for runway 8. And make all your turns in the traffic pattern lazy turns. No steep banks in the traffic pattern. Alright, mixtures of props full forward flaps, set fuel pumps are on. Need to get some trim in here. And the other rule of traffic patterns is always make your base to final turn too early rather than too late. And the reason is because if you make it too early and you're going to roll out too early, like I'm doing right now, you can just kind of ease it over a little bit. You can shallow out your bank and just ease it over a little bit. Whereas if you overshoot it and you're trying to come back, what a lot of people do is they try to pull the nose around with the rudders, and if you're doing that and rolling out of the turn using opposite aileron, you're cross controlled, and if you get slow and you stall when you're cross controlled, you are a goner. So looking good. About 75 knots will make me happy. 75 knots and about 400 feet per minute descent. Need to bring in some power here. Need to bring in some power. So yeah, a little bit of a left crosswind too. Oopsie. Getting too low. Why is this squirrely? This is the difference between live weather and clear weather. Alright. Looking good. What's the windsock doing? Yeah, little dance. Little dance. We almost look like we know what we're doing. Alright, and a good rule is to round out right about the height of your average windsock. And then just ease it on down. That right there was not too bad. That right there was not too bad. So, lean the mixtures a little bit. Where is the main terminal? I can show you guys the main terminal here. This is, Jason, this is the newest update. This is all the newest update. I wasn't looking at comments there for a second while I was landing. Sorry, guys. Oh, Chris, that thing on, I forget what it's on, but yeah, I saw, is it on Apple TV? I think it might be on Apple TV. But I know what you're talking about. And I haven't watched it. How is it? Is it good? Alright, we're going to get clear of the runway here. And then now we'll put our flaps up. We'll park over here. Whoopsie daisy. Put our flaps up. Oh, let's follow this. Cargo. We'll go over to cargo ramp. What do you think? Alright, flaps are up. Fuel pumps off. Mixtures are lean for taxi. Oh, Dame, I didn't see you. Right down. Oh man, where's? Okay, are you coming in? Let's see if we can catch his landing, because we should be able to see. I'm gonna pull up here a little bit so I can get out of the direct view of the sun here. Dame is on short final. I'm trying to get out of the direct line of the sun so I can see a little bit better. What's funny is I've done multiplayer, you know, like that's in that kind of multiplayer, but I've never actually flown multiplayer like with other people in the sim. So we've got Dame on short final here. I'm just gonna keep right on coming down this way. Let me pop inside here, maybe we can see a little better. Alright. So, let's see here. I'm gonna make a nuisance of myself and just park in the middle of nowhere. We can see if we can see our friend coming in here. What did I just do? Why did my engines just fail? Huh? That's weird. Gyro fail? Generators failed. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Mags are on, master and battery switch is on. This must be an actual failure. The mixtures aren't lean that much. That's weird. I'm not out of fuel. Fuel valves are on. Don't need external power to start the or to keep the engines running. Obviously. Why did they quit? That's really odd. Both my engines quit for no apparent reason. So we're looking for. We must. So it must be that Dame and I are on different servers because I can't see him. And for some reason, I can't figure out why my engines are quitting. Very bizarre. I mean, my mixtures aren't lean that much. Doesn't matter. I was going to park anyway. But I wonder why. I wonder why. If we've had an actual failure of some kind, I don't think so. Very odd. I mean, it says gyro failure. Port generators. So, we're on the same server. I can see you. Let me see here. I thought I heard an airplane at some point. But I was also trying to figure out why my engines all failed. So, let's see here. Buying this plane, says Mike. Fuel pumps, yeah, USAPR1. I don't know. I mean, I had the mixtures lean for taxi, which, I mean, I didn't lean them that. So that's one of my favorite stories about, or one of my favorite lectures to give, I guess if you want to call it that, about leaning your engines on the ground. The reason you lean your engines on the ground is to prevent the spark plugs from fouling. They're not reacting to the throttles at all. But the thing is, you can't lean the mixture too much for taxi, because if you lean it too much, all that happens is the engine turns off, and then you just turn it back on. But I just can't figure out why. Unless it's because I had them running at idle. But I mean, they shouldn't quit when they're at idle. I mean, it's possible it's a fuel pump failure. I mean, it's one of the only things I can think of. But something failed, or it could also be your pilot that failed. One of the two. But in any event, we're going to turn the engines off anyway. So let's go mixtures to idle. Cutoff. Throttles are idle. Parking brake is set. Flaps are up. Fuel pumps off. Avionics off before the mags are off. And master and battery switches off. We'll open up our doors. Put out the boarding steps and the chocks. Yeah, fuel's it had plenty of fuel. I mean, it's off now, but I had like 25 gallons aside. Interesting. But here we are, parked in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, so that was kind of cool to see those castles. They did a really sweet job. Left engine keeps running, but right engine stops. Yeah, I don't. That's the first time I've ever had that happen. Yeah, Dame. I think next time what I have to do is check and see which server I'm on, because that was the one thing I didn't do before. I did set myself to multiplayer, but I forgot to look at which server number was. Hey Ray, thank you, my friend. I hope things are going well for you in Venezuela. No, I've never used multiplayer before USAPR1, so I don't. Well, now that I think about it, so I was talking earlier in the flight about how terrible I'm getting these really bad artifacts and like weird, like graphics glitches. It's possible it's because of the multiplayer. I never use it, so that's possible. Actually, now that you mention it, East USA. Yep. Okay. So USAPR1, you might have just diagnosed my avionics problem, or my graphics problem. But yeah, so I think next flight what we'll do is we're just going to continue out. We'll go across the north side of the Dominican, and then we'll go across the north of Haiti. We'll go up around Cuba. We're going to do the whole shebang. We're going to go up around Cuba. Wonder if did they put points of interest in Cuba? They must have. Is Cuba not included in the World Update, the Caribbean World Update? Because I don't see it in the list of things to do, the list of points of interest. I don't see Cuba at all. So I'd be kind of disappointed to find out that Cuba is not included. And the Cayman Islands are not included either. So what we're going to do then is we'll do the Dominican, we'll do Haiti, we'll do Cuba, we'll do Jamaica after that, and then we'll come back along the south side of Haiti and the Dominican and the south side of Puerto Rico, and then eventually we will get down to this is the Kevin, this is the Britain Norman Islander from Black Box Simulations. I'll type the developer in the chat. It's a very it's a very niche airplane, so it's not surprising that. Yep, exactly. Yep, the BN2 Islander, and USAPR1. You're probably right. That that's probably the issue. Enzer, I'm not sure. I think maybe Sunday we'll go again. I know Saturday's tomorrow. I got some things going. I'm going to the ballet tomorrow. Talk about sophisticated. But I think probably Sunday. So I'll schedule it so you guys have it in advance. and we'll head out to the Dominican, and we'll see how far we can get, you know? So I thank you guys all for coming along again, and it's awesome to have the same group back every time. It's a lot of fun. Hope you guys are enjoying it too. I hope you guys have a good Friday. Enzer, we're looking forward to it as well. And the 16 only. Okay, the airport close to. Oh, the yeah, Heiko, yeah, exactly. Um, the airport close to Cuba. I'm gonna have to look. I'm surprised Cuba's not in the world update. It doesn't make any sense. So Enzer, you got a 6-month-old? God bless you, my friend. So you're basically not sleeping at all. Yeah. Um, but all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming along. Thanks for joining me. And Dame, thanks for flying along. And we'll be back at it probably on Sunday, fellas. I'm gonna put up I'll put up the schedule later on today. And hope you guys have a good Friday night. Hope everybody's healthy and well. And we'll talk soon. Oh yes, Heiko. So it's funny that I was trying to think of which other one he had, and it is the Trilander. Yep. Yeah, Enzer. I'm 48, man. I wouldn't want to. I'm barely able to take care of myself, much less a child. But oh, Michael, absolutely, you can come along. You can absolutely come along. Oh, he's right next to the gas trucks. That's weird. I don't see you. I don't see you. That's strange. All right, Enzer, Michael, absolutely. So we're gonna do multiplayer next time. Uh, so anybody who wants to fly along, pick your airplane of choice, and we'll do multiplayer. I'm totally game. If we don't do VATSIM, I might do both. I might do VATSIM and multiplayer. But Chris, Dame, Kevin, um, Elias, Michael, Enzer, Mike, USAPR1. I mean, it's been a pleasure, guys. As always, Heiko, Ray. Everybody have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk on Sunday. I'll make sure there's nobody I didn't miss. And Jason, thank you as well. And Chris, we got BK739. Thank you. Mike Coffee, also thank you, sir, for coming along. It was a good time, guys. I really appreciate it. The F-22. Oh, Chris, I thought you were saying you were gonna fly the F-22 next time. Hey, Elias, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Look to have you back next time. Any of you guys want to fly? Any of you guys want to fly along the next time? You are more than welcome to join in. These must be like invisible airplanes, Dame, because I don't see them. I don't see them. Andrew, that's so cool. Make it a family event. You know, it's funny. Enzo, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know a Gerard Gums? Because Gerard Gums on Anguilla is my pastor, and I can only assume you're at least in some way tangentially related to him. Tremendous man, tremendous man. Had a beautiful, beautiful wife, who has you presumably know passed away. But oh man, he's stealth next to me. Gotcha. But Enzo, I'm curious to know if you're related to Gerard Gums at all. Um, all right, guys. So I'm gonna sign off, and may know him if I see him. Um, Gerard Gums, Enzo. He's a pastor on Anguilla. Tremendous man. In any event, I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks again for coming along, and we'll see everybody on Sunday. Take care, guys. Enzer, it's God's storehouse. It's right just up north, just up over behind uh, where the telecom company is, just before you come into the valley. It's called God's Storehouse, and tremendous guy, tremendous guy, and we go there every time we're in Anguilla. So I hope you guys are well. Everybody have a good weekend, and we'll talk on Sunday. Bye bye. Michael, you caught me right before I hit the button. Probably about either going to be 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock is my guess. My guess is probably 3 o'clock. So, oh, cool, Dame. Thank you. I'll check that out. Thank you. Probably 3 o'clock on Sunday is my guess. Once we get more of a roll, I've only been doing this for a week. Okay, Enzo, yeah. Michael, I've only been doing this for a week, the streaming stuff. So eventually I'll get into a better rhythm and have it regular time that we know it's going to be. But right now I'm just still feeling it out. So figure Sunday probably 3 o'clock is my guess. Um, yeah, Enzer, he's a tremendous guy. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great Friday and Saturday, and we'll talk on Sunday. Take care, everybody.